Hey there, welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking keto Chinese dumplings, my friends. You heard me right. That's keto Chinese dumplings. Today I'm going to make them with pork and shrimp. And you know what? One of the things people miss most on the keto diet, besides bread and pasta, is Chinese takeout food. And you know what? It's really simple to make it at home. I'm going to show you how to do that. This is a delicious dish, one that was my favorite. Actually, before I could just make a whole meal out of these appetizers. And in fact, I might just do that with these right here a little later on. Let's get started making them. Here's what you'll need to make these incredible dumplings. First of all, let's talk about the filling. It starts off here with 1.5 pounds or so of ground pork. I actually intended to use a pound here, but this came packaged as 1.5 pounds, and I figure why not just work with that. I've also got 10 ounces of medium shrimp that I deveined and peeled and cleaned, and I'm just going to go ahead and add those in there. I also chopped it up into small pieces. You know, shrimp is actually easier to chop if you freeze it. So I cleaned this, put it back in the freezer, and then when it was frozen again, I chopped it up into these pieces like this. You know what? These are going to be really great dumplings with all this pork and shrimp. So that's the meat base for our filling. I'm going to set this aside while I talk about the other ingredients we've got here. Here I've got a Napa cabbage. Now if you can't find Napa cabbage, just use regular old white cabbage. It's really not a problem. You could actually use red if you want. It's just going to make a purple color in your dumplings. But anyway, we're going to use this one. I'm going to use about half of it in this recipe. This has been washed and dried thoroughly. We also have here 8 ounces of chopped mushrooms. These are criminy mushrooms, by the way. I've also got 5 or 6 green onions. I'm also going to add in 1 grated carrot. Now, I know what you're thinking. Carrots aren't keto, they've got sugar in them. Well, it's really not that bad. And we're going to use 1 carrot here for about 10 servings of these dumplings. I've also got here 2 tablespoons of keto Asian chili paste. The link for that will come up on the screen. 2 tablespoons of my ginger garlic paste. Another link will appear on your screen. 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. You could use rice vinegar as well if you like. 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce. Use any kind of soy sauce you like. I just like the low sodium kind. Here I've got 1.5 tablespoons of erythritol to sweeten it. And you're also going to want 2 teaspoons of roasted sesame oil. To prepare the Napa cabbage, I'm going to remove some of the outer leaves that are falling off and maybe are a little less attractive than others here. I'm going to slice our cabbage in half. Set that aside. And you see it has a core here. We're going to cut that out. Just like that. Remove it. It's going to go in the compost. And then we just want to slice it. I'm going to cut it this way a little bit because we don't want the pieces to be too big. We're going to be rolling them up in our wrapper, which, by the way, is going to be cabbage leaves. Cabbage leaves of a regular white cabbage like this, but I'll show you that a little bit later on. So here we want to cut this into nice shreds, just like this. You don't have to be too exact about it, but remember, you're going to be wrapping this up in a cabbage leaf, and you want it to be easy to roll up and easy to fit into our dumpling. I'm going to continue until I finish slicing this cabbage. And there we have it. Now we can begin to assemble the filling. Here's our meat base. Got to dump our cabbage right on in there. Got kind of a big one there. I'll give that just a quick slice. All right. Basically, we're just going to add in the rest of the ingredients. So our mushrooms. You can see this is going to just make this enormous amount, right? It's one of my favorite recipes. I really love these dumplings. There are spring onions, the carrot. Again, don't want carrot. Leave it out. Leave it out. Here, what I'm going to do is just mix this with my hands quickly. If you don't like to mix the meat with your hands, you could of course use a big spatula or a spoon or something. I want to get this mixed up before I put the flavorings in so it'll be easy to distribute them fairly evenly. And now let's add in the flavorings. Here we've got our Asian chili paste. soy sauce, the roasted sesame oil, white vinegar, and our ginger garlic paste. If you don't have ginger garlic paste, or you don't want to make it, you can also just use equal amounts of ginger and garlic. Here you're going to want to use a tablespoon of finely ground ginger, or finely minced ginger and finely minced garlic. Once again, going in with my hands to mix this up. And now we're ready to get serious about making some dumplings here. For the wrappers, what I have here, now this is a little unusual, I have a head of white cabbage that I brought home from the store, and I of course washed it like I do all of my vegetables. And then I stuck it in the freezer overnight and brought it out and thawed it. Now, if you don't want to do that, of course you have to really plan ahead when you do that, you can bring a pot of water to boil and immerse the head of cabbage in the water for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. You kind of have to check until the leaves loosen up, and you want to bring it out of that water and allow it to cool before you try to touch it. Freezing a head of cabbage is really a great boon for making this kind of dish, or for making, for example, Polish cabbage rolls. Here I'm going to cut the core out. That's going to make it easier to get the leaves off. And here you can see I've got some leaves, like this first one that's got some dirt on it. And actually that's going way down in there. Okay, we're going to remove all of that because we don't want it in our dish. Okay, now for the wrappers. Here I've got my head of cabbage, and I've peeled off some of the outer leaves that were damaged or a little dirty. And here I'm just going to grab a couple of these gently. We want to make sure that we don't tear them, of course. We want to use these as, here's a really good one right here. And you don't have to be too delicate with it, but again, you want these to look nice. Our next step is to make it easy to roll them. We have this thick vein right here. We're going to slice part of that off with our knife to make it flatter. This is also going to make it a little easier to roll up, and it'll also help it stay rolled up once it's rolled up. I'm going to remove that to the side. I'm going to do that with another one just to show you again. This one isn't too thick. Just give it a little bit of a slice there. Get that right off. Okay, next, we're going to fill these the same way we would do with dumpling wrappers. So here I'm going to take a nice amount of our filling, maybe a little bit more than that. Oh, this is really fragrant and delicious. In fact, we can make the dumplings as big as we like, as long as they fit in our cabbage leaves, right? You can start at either end. I'm going to start down here, mound our filling up, roll it up, fold in the sides. Remember, it's a cabbage leaf. It's not going to be that obedient at first. Roll it up into a nice tight little package. And there you have a nice little dumpling. I'm going to continue on with this until I've made as many dumplings as I want. Now here's our final product. They look a little bit more like egg rolls, I guess, than dumplings, but the filling is really a dumpling filling, and of course the difference is that an egg roll filling has a lot more vegetable in it and a lot less meat. Anyway, these we're just going to cook exactly the way we would cook other Chinese dumplings that are in a pastry wrapper, and I'll show you how to do that next. Here I've got my non-stick skillet heating over medium-high heat. It's pretty hot now. It's been about 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm going to just add about a tablespoon or 2 of some oil. This is avocado oil, but you could use whatever oil you like. Distribute that around the pan a little bit. And then, just like dumplings with wrappers made with cornstarch and wheat flour, we're going to just set these right in there and brown them. And we're going to leave them like this until they've got a nice char on the front side there. That's going to take a couple of minutes. As your dumplings brown, turn them over. I want to brown the other side too, just like that. It's really flavorful. I think that I'm going to leave just for another moment or two there. That one too. Oh, no, that's nice right there. See? We're going to brown them on both sides like this, and then we'll move on to the next step. And we'll just check them. Oh yeah, that's nice there. Yeah, look at that. Looking good. Okay, great. We're going to cook this the rest of the way just like we would regular dumplings by adding about a half a cup of water to our very hot pan and then putting the lid on right away. Put the lid on. I'm going to turn this down to a simmer, really fairly low, and now we're going to let this go for 8 minutes. While we steam our dumplings, let's make our sauce. It starts off with 2 tablespoons of Chongqing vinegar. You can use some other product if you like, or make a different sauce if you like. This is really my favorite one, and this is very much like the one you get in Chinese takeout restaurants. I'm also going to add into that a tablespoon of Asian chili paste, the Keto Asian chili paste. You'll find a link to that on the screen. I think it's still there. Here we're also going to put in a tablespoon of light soy sauce. You can use full sodium soy sauce if you like. Tablespoon of erythritol. We're also going to want to put in 2 teaspoons of our ginger garlic paste. In fact, we'll get all of it in there like that. And about a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon, according to your taste, of roasted sesame oil. In it goes. I've also got some extra erythritol here, just in case we want it a little sweeter. I'm going to combine this with a whisk. You can also add some chopped cilantro if you like. That's really a great complement to this combination of flavors. There's the timer for my dumplings. Those are ready. We've got our sauce ready just in time. Let's give that just a quick taste to check for sweetness. Ooh, that's really good. You heard my timer go off. Let's have a look. Look at that. Aren't those beautiful? Now, just to be safe, let's make sure that our pork is fully cooked. We want to get a temperature of about 165 here. Oh yeah, there we go. A little higher than that, we're good. So this is safe to eat, and it's going to be delicious. Let's serve it. Before I do give it a taste, let's have a quick look inside so you can see how nice these are. Here. Now, of course, it's still hot, but as I think you can see here, this is perfectly cooked. It looks really, it smells fantastic. And it's really very nice. It's, as you can see, there's a little liquid. That's what we want, though. We want it to be juicy. Well, all right, let's give this a taste. You, of course, can attack this with a knife and fork. You could use chopsticks. I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up with my hand. Got a little bit of the sauce here. Mmm. Oh, wow. Such a great combination of flavors. A little messy, maybe, but mmm. First of all, the filling is so flavorful and delicious. It's got those vegetables, of course. Got that great, the shrimp, which you can actually see and taste here. Lovely pork. And then this delicious dipping sauce here that I think is just wonderful. I hope that you'll try this recipe. I also hope that you will like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. It helps my channel grow, and it helps you find my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell. Listen, it's been fun today. Thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. We'll catch you next time.